Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. I thought I'd do something a little different today. I thought I would make a little how-to tutorial on how I do my asphalt. I put a post on Facebook and it got a lot of good feedback, a lot of good comments, and a lot of people asking to do a video. So I thought, you know, I haven't made a how-to video yet, so I thought this would be a good opportunity. So we're going to jump right in. So this area here, I had a crew shack and I was going to do like a gravel type area, and it just didn't look right. Something just wasn't jiving with the scene. I didn't like it, so I thought, you know, this would be a great area for just a rundown asphalt parking lot. So that's what we're going to do. So I've started ripping all the gravel up and sanding this down and cleaning it up, and we're going to make some asphalt. Now the first thing that we're going to do here is I have already cut, this is just foam sheets that I got at Michael's. They were $1 a piece, and like I said, they're just gray sheets of foam, and they come in, I believe, 12 by 18 or 13 by 19, something like that. But like I said, I just found them at Michael's. You can cut them with scissors, you can cut them with an X-Acto knife. It's really easy material to work with because it's just foam. So I've already cut out my area here that I want to do the asphalt parking lot. So once you get this cut down, we just need to glue this down to the base. Now normally I would just put white glue because this is just foam, mounted on foam. But for this instance, since I've already had some rough scenery down and it's kind of uneven, I've sanded it the best I can, but there are some pits in here. I'm just going to use liquid nails. Now I know this is overkill, but I can smooth this stuff down and level it out because I'm actually putting it on pre-existing scenery. So, but like I said, normally just white glue will be sufficient. Okay, now that I've got my liquid nails all put down, and I just used a flat edge here just to kind of level this out the best I can. This stuff dries fairly quick. We're just going to put this in place, and like I said, I've already cut this where I wanted it to go. So we're just going to smooth this out best we can. And then I'm going to add some weights to it, and we're going to let this dry for a few hours just to make sure that it's holding. All right, as in other videos I have stated, don't laugh at my weights. They're anything I can grab my hands on, drills, glue, paint, whatever I can. But you get the gist of it. We're just going to leave these weights on here for, I don't know, a couple of hours just to make sure this is dry. And we'll be right back to start the process. Okay, now that this is dry, everything looks good. We don't have to worry about the edges because we're going to come back in with scenery and we'll blend all this in. Right now, it's just all about getting the color down. Now, the first color that I put down, and before I show this, it doesn't matter if you use gray, black, white. I always just use gray as a good starting substance, but if they don't have that color in, you can use any color really because we're going to paint it, so it doesn't really matter. But the first color that we're going to put down is this apple barn, and the color is actually called pavement. So this will be the first thing that we put down, and this is a matte acrylic. You don't want gloss because obviously it will look a little too shiny. So we're going to put this down first. Now the way that I like to put this down is we're going to put this down with a sponge. So I put just a little bit in my tray here. And we do not want to paint this on with a brush or basically paint it on with anything, because it's not going to give the effect of asphalt. What I have done, this was an old grout sponge that I had, and I just ripped a piece off. But you see all these little porous holes in here? This is going to give like a crackle effect. So it's gonna look like crackle, but it's actually going to be flat. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dab this in here, and then we're just going to start dappling this color on. And there's no rhyme or reason how you put it on. I just like to just be sporadic with it and just make sure you cover everything. Super easy to do. There's really no artistic, you know, you don't have to be artistic at all to do this. This is just basic sponge and paint. You basically, you know, just want to just keep going over this. And you don't have to, it doesn't have to be covered 100%. So if a little bit of the gray shows in there, that's okay. I personally cover it, I would say probably 95%. But what this is also going to do is it's kind of lifting the paint. So the paint is just not flat down like it would be with a brush. So every time you lift this sponge, it's basically bringing the paint up. So it gives it a little bit of texture as well. And that's going to do it. That is our first pass there. Like I stated, it gives it a little bit of texture by using the sponge. It actually lifts the paint up, and this is why I like to use the gray foam, because if you don't get 100% coverage and some of the gray shows through, it actually helps with the process. So, like I said, don't be afraid to not cover the whole thing. It's not super critical at this stage. I just like to cover everything with the pavement color to give it a nice base. Okay, we're going to let this dry for about 15-20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. It's 70 degrees in here, so it's going to dry fairly quick. And we kind of want a little bit of wet on wet, but I still prefer it to dry for at least 15 to 20 minutes, just so the colors don't blend super well when it's like wet on wet. So we're going to let this dry, like I said, for about 15-20 minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay, now that this is dry, we're going on to the next step. So the next color that I like to add is from American Deco Art, and the color is Morning Mist. You can see that. Morning Mist. Now this is a really light colored gray. It almost has a, I don't know, maybe a pinkish tint to it, maybe a little red in there, I don't know. I like this color because it gives it more of a weathered look rather than just gray. So we're going to do this the same process. And if you can see this color here, like I said, it's kind of a pinkish gray, really. I don't know, but I like the color. I've tried 2 or 3 different ones, and this is my favorite. So now we're going to use a fresh sponge on this one, just to not blend in the black and the gray. So same process. And then what I'm going to do here is we're just lightly going to tap it and just move some paint around until it starts getting some of it off. Or you could actually dab it, kind of like dry painting. Do it on a sponge or on a paper towel and get a lot of it off. But like I said, I just kind of put some on there, put it all around, and then we'll just go back in now and just start blending all this in. And same thing, we want some of the black to show through, so you don't want to do everything. And that's why I like the sponge. And it's okay to hit the areas back over again. And what that does is it starts fading the color out. It gives it more of a faded look. And with that black underneath here, it actually tones this down a lot. And the black starts popping through. And as you do this, you'll feel it start getting really tacky. Really start drying out. And all of a sudden, it just starts coming alive. You just start seeing the asphalt. I also recommend turning the sponge so you don't have patterns. And as I stated, as it starts drying, you want to just keep doing it. And it's okay to have these areas here that look dark, because asphalt it's you know, it's faded in different areas. And as you can tell, when you start continually doing it in one spot, you'll start getting these little dark areas here. And that's perfectly okay. That's actually really good because it gives it, I don't know, it just gives it that faded in certain area looks. And that's when the asphalt really starts coming alive on this foam. And as you can tell, I only put paint on here one time. Oh, I've got a piece of trash on there. Is that not awesome? I hope this is turning out really good on camera because it looks fantastic. Okay, we're gonna call that done. We're gonna leave it just like that. Now, do you see what I mean? If you keep doing it in one particular area, it'll start darkening up. It's pulling that black back through the morning mist color, which is perfectly fantastic. We really want that look. These dark spots and light spots, it really starts coming alive and looking like prototypical asphalt. So don't be afraid. Like I said, the sheet cost $1. You know, who cares? If you mess it up, you mess it up. And but you really can't mess it up using this technique. It's amazing how this turns out. I hope it's turning out on camera as good as it looks in person. But we're going to take it to another level to make it look even more like asphalt. So let's let this dry for about, we want to let this one dry for about 30 minutes because the next process, you really need to have your hands on it and you don't want to start getting hand prints, thumb prints, that type of thing. So we're going to let this dry really good, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. But yeah, we're going to call this done for the two colors. So, okay guys, this is the final product after it's dried. And I I gotta say it looks phenomenal. As I stated, when you're doing the sponging technique with the morning mist, as you can tell, like right in here, I didn't do much sponging, just get the color on there. But once you continually do it in one area like this, just constantly doing it, it starts bringing that black back up through the paint. And it really starts giving it that spackle effect or that crackle effect. Let me try to zoom in here and maybe we can see it a little bit better. But I mean, it really turns out like asphalt. And from $1 a sheet from foam, I'm gonna tell you, man, why anybody would use the spackle, putting down the mixture of whatever they're using for roads, the spackling type stuff, and doing all the sanding and dust everywhere. Why do all that when you can get the same effect from $1 sheet of foam? And this, I mean, honestly, this whole process outside of the drying takes me 15 minutes. So why go through the headache of doing all that? Now, I haven't done any roads yet, so we're going to do that at some point. But I think this just looks amazing. But like I said, we're going to take this to the next level. So let's adjust the camera and we'll be right back. Okay, now what I want to do is kind of put the building where I want it, just to see what it's going to look like in the area. So I want something about like this. This is just a crew shack. This is just for the crews on the Montana Northern. So I want it kind of close to the edge of the tracks like this, because I want some parkings for trucks. We actually may move this down just to give a little bit more parking. So something about like this, because I want to put some machinery here. I want parking for trucks here. So about that area there. Okay, for the next process, we want to add in some like expansion cracks, crevices, things that you normally see on asphalt. And for that process, super easy, I'm going to take a number 2 pencil. Now you want to make sure that the point on there is really sharp, because you don't want the really fat lines. It just doesn't look good. But I'm just going to draw these in. And there's no rhyme or reason. They don't have to look spectacular. And you can just draw these in how many you want, how few, I don't know, it really doesn't matter. It's kind of up taste and personal preference. I don't like to go too many, just because it starts looking spider webby, that type of thing. But this is not very well taken care of asphalt, so we do like light pressure, just for some small ones. But I think that's going to do it. We're going to leave it just like that. Hopefully you can see this. Let's grab the camera and we'll move it a little bit closer. So here's a few that I drew in. And like I said, there's no rhyme or reason where they go. After we do a little powder weathering, they're not going to be that noticeable anyway. But it still looks a little, I don't know. It's not 100% right, but we're still going to add more detail to this. Okay, to take it up to another notch of realism, we are going to go in and we're going to add some grass like it's growed up through the asphalt. And the only thing that I use for that is just some all-purpose glue. And we're gonna open it to where it's just barely got any glue coming out. We don't want a huge amount of glue, just a really fine line. The next thing that we're going to take is this Woodland Scenics Fine Turf. I use the earth color. It just looks a little more natural. And we're going to put some in the top here. Now all we're going to do is just take our fingers and just kind of put some right over the glue lines. That we put down. Okay? So now once that's down, just give it a little, and there you have it. Now it still looks a little fat. Once this dries, I'll go in and take my finger and kind of roll it over the top of that to take it down just a little bit. It's a little heavy. That's why I say when you put this on here, you want to make sure that the tip is closed as much as you can, because you don't want much glue coming out. Also, you don't want to do this in every crack because grass doesn't grow up in every single one of them. So I tend to do it in the areas that is less highly trafficked. And we'll add just a little bit more down here on the other ends, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, this is our final scene. We only have one step left. As you can see, after this starts drying, I pull a lot of that grass out because I have learned everything in this hobby is, or one of the greatest things I've learned in this hobby is less is more. When you overdo it with one particular color or anything scenery wise, it's too much. You need to back it down. So if you notice when I put the grass down, it was really thick. It just didn't look good. So once it dries, I go in, take my finger, take a brush, and take a lot of it off. You just want a subtle hint of the grass there. Now we'll put our building in place about where it's going to go. I'm not going to glue it down just yet. I just want an overall view of the scene. So let's grab the camera and let's adjust this. Okay, hopefully that shows a little bit better, but I mean, to me this looks fantastic. For what we have in it, I don't know how, how most people do their asphalt parking lots, but I'm telling you, the spackling and the sanding and the dust, it's just not necessary. Just two colors, about 15 minutes and a $1 sheet of foam, you can achieve the asphalt look. Now we're going to take it one more step. I have my chalk set here. Let's see if I can show it here. And it's got a bunch of different colors. I don't even know who made this. I got this like 20 years ago. But we're just going to take some colors in. Let me readjust the camera so you can see how I'm going to do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just take some chalk with this brush here. I like this brush. It's really fat, but it's super soft. I don't know what it is. It's, let's see. It's called a 430 round mop, Sri Lanka number 12, but it's just super soft. But we're just going to take some colors in, and we're going to start with some gray here. And I'm just going to kind of move this in different areas because, like I said, less is more. And then I'm just going to kind of like do round brush strokes. And this is going to give it to like this area is really worn down. Like there's been some heavy traffic. And there again, less is more. And if you think you've got too much on there, you can always take your hands and just kind of rub that in. I'm not going to do too much with this because it come out so good. And then we have a little bit of black here that I'm going to do in this area. And the reason why is because this is where I'm going to have some machinery sit. So I want this to look really worn down. So I want it to kind of give it the appearance of oil stains. And there again, I'm going to wait till I get some vehicles on here to do a lot of this because I just don't know where I'm going to have everything sit. But I wanted to show you, like here, these would be like oil stains from vehicle sitting. And you can do that with a black brush. But for right now, that's all I'm going to do with the powders, just because I don't know where I'm going to have vehicles sitting yet, and I don't want to add unnecessary weathering. But that's going to do it for this, I guess, my first how-to tutorial. As I stated, this is such an easy process. And the end result is, to me, the best looking asphalt I could ever hope for. I don't have to sand anything. I don't have dust everywhere. You know, just to kind of recap, a $1 sheet of foam, dapple some pavement color on there, dapple morning mist, and just experiment with different areas. And then, like I said, for the just to take it to the next level, I add in some cracks and crevices and grass. And I'll go in and add a little bit more once the vehicles are added. And then we'll touch up the scenery around the asphalt. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you learned something from it. I'd love to hear your comments below. And if you've got some other techniques to add to this, I'd love to hear them as well. But that's going to do it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure and hit that like button and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And we'll see you guys in about a week.